Dear ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to our roundtable Design for Sustainability, Post-Pandemic and Current World Challenges. Allow me to present our speakers as a priority. Please welcome Professor Hena Ali, Ph.D, comes from the London College of Communication, University of the Art, London. She is a UK-based designer, researcher, academic, and innovator. Dear Hena, we are honored and grateful for your time. Unfortunately, we are together via a digital platform, but I'm sure that we will meet in person soon.
Thank you so much.
Our second special guest via online is Paivi Tahkokallio. It's correct. Past BEDA president, founder and CEO of Tahkokallio Design Plus, a strategic design agency operating from the Arctic North in Finland. Paivi, welcome, and I'm delighted to have you with us.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you. We will welcome our president of the Students' Council of the Faculty of Design, Anna Maria Čuden. Welcome, Anna.
Hi.
And thank you for being part of that talk. We're very proud. Sertac Ersayin, kindly welcome to Slovenia. Sertac is a board member of u.d.i.a, president of the Industrial Design Society of Turkey, a professor at several universities, and a manager with an excellent sensibility for design and sustainability. And the last but not least is our Slovenian architect, Robert Klun, CEO of Magnet Design, leader of the family business Klun Ambienti, and his fantastic work had a significant impact in Arabia. The most famous last work is the Slovenia Sustainable Pavilion in Expo 2020 in Dubai. And I know there is more, and I'm sure that you will share it and present it with us.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. At the roundtable, we want to improve and share knowledge on how to work and develop new strategies of design processes in the frame of sustainable design, with coming future challenges in the view of the pandemic and current situation in the world. Our speakers will share their experiences and thoughts about the importance of responsible design, from product innovation level to socio-technical systems. We will try to answer the questions of how to implement a holistic approach to the concept of sustainable design. What challenges do we have to overcome to achieve sustainable goals with pandemic and war issues? And what kind of primary approach is needed for different fields of design for sustainability, for the levels of spatial, social, socio-ethical, service, product, and innovation levels. The roundtable will run or moderate, if you want, Ersayin Sertac. Sertac, please, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the invitation to this lovely city and the university in Vienna. There are a lot of things to say normally, but I'll try to make it short. During those COVID pandemic days, it showed us how much we are needed to each other to connect. So before jumping into the sustainable design, probably we need to talk about sustainable communication between us, because the last 2 years showed us how we are connected to each other and how much we need also to each other. That's number one for me, coming a note from last 2 years. Before going again, jump into the sustainable design, let me talk about a little bit more about the SDGs also, because this topic is given by UN to the worldwide, to every community, and we do have a lot of responsibility regarding on these issues. Why do we need to consider those SDGs to be able to create a livable cities or for a better designs and to be able to build up ecosystems around us. There are 17 goals. I would like to share this part, especially for the students. Maybe they are following us from the digitally, and these 17 goals are consisting of 169 targets behind. Those UN member countries trying to solve the humanity's biggest challenges within coming years. So there are some certain targets to make it in next nearly 10 years. So one of the aim is to end, let's say, poverty. Sometimes we don't feel that, but we are living in the same house, earth, world, and maybe 1/5 of the peoples are suffering from that issues. And we need to increase to access to the education. And we are living now the migration problems. It's about also one of the very challenging issues, and the climate change and inequality. It's about also to bring all these members of the societies to the same level and acceptable platforms in equality, we call it. It's a little bit more than being everything or every person to the same platform. It's a different issue I will try to mention now. And the world is changing a lot because of the migrations, because of the climate change, because of the changing of a lot of things, social infrastructures, a lot of things. So all those issues are directly impacting to the designers and creative industries, people, way of thinking and way of solution techniques. So I will try to mention a couple of, but as world design organizations, we identified some numbers of the SDGs are much more related to our communities, and we just chosen some of them and brought them into our core, let's say, core activities. But number one, I would love to tell a couple of sentences of this, is the poverty. I mean, maybe we don't feel that, but we're suffering from that. So I have some notes. Even the large families and the poverties often go hand in hand. People living in some areas are usually not empowered to choose the number of children and the supporting the fundings, the ecosystem, how they are managed, how the chances are given to them. A lot of problems. I'm not going to repeat all of this. I have a very long notes here about the kids, about the families, about the women, and about the children. So this is number one. Let's try to remember this one. The following one is the zero hunger. I mean, can we imagine that being in that kind of position that we are feeling? I mean, hunger and zero hunger. So we need to do a lot of things about this. This is becoming increasingly difficult to and eventually impossible under sustained population growth. Our populations are going up and up, and all the directions of the immigrations are going to the geographies, which are proposing high social welfare. So everybody is trying to be a part of it. And also all the immigrations are going to the metropolitan areas. Number of the people who are living in the cities are unbelievably going up and up. This is another issue. This is number two. And the third one is also in the list of WDO, and we're calling them these are much more related to our issues, and we should keep all of them on the table. This is good health and well-being. Whatever we design for the communities, whatever we are developing for the industries are related to human, related to ecosystem, related to good health. At the previous sayings, we were saying that, we are designing some medical issues for the medical business areas. They all are related to health. No, it's more than even food, even packaging, even automotive, even construction business, even the tableware products, whatever they are. How we are manufacturing, what is the impact of manufacturing all those products portfolio, and how we are using, how are the benefits behind them, how we are helping to survive, to design a better community. So I have also some numbers, but maybe I'm not going to repeat. But worldwide, we do have a lot of problems regarding these issues. Again, from the children to the women, from the people who are living in the rural areas to the pregnant women and others. A lot of things. Maybe we will keep on talking on this. The following one is the gender equality. Empowering women and girls take control of their bodies and lives is crucial for the solving your biggest social and environmental crisis. These are one of the main drivers of high fertility rates. So not a single country has yet achieved fully and equality, and diverse gender-based injunctions and crimes continue to be common and widespread. According to the UN, there are a lot of dramatic numbers that we should consider. We should keep it in our mindset. As a creative people and decision makers of within these communities and creating some impact to the societies, this also should be in our list and in front of us. And the other one is surprisingly, I mean, we are not feeling that, but if we feel that, we have the responsibility. It's clean water and sanitation. Imagine somebody in the desert of India, Pakistan, Africa. I mean, a lot of problems they have. I have some stories behind this. I mean, women who are living there, they expect they wait for the night to be able to go to make their the sanitation, because they try to feel themselves in a very confident time zone. This is very strange for us. And imagine if someone from the university, a student, is involved on these issues and trying to solve and bring a design solutions that kind of problems. It's not less. Nearly billions of people are suffering the similar issues globally from that perspective. We need to mention it. And the other one is affordable and clean energy. I will make it shortly, but the consumption of those energies and energy sources, there are a lot of things to say. Please just, I'll try to manage my time on time. Affordable and clean energy, it should be in our list, and this, since we are increasing our incomes, but also we are increasing the consumption of the energies, decentive work and the economic growth. A high number of young dependents make economic prosperity is almost impossible, almost receipt of the unrest. And the other one is the industry, innovation and infrastructure. The larger the population, the bigger the problems. So how we are going to combine them and how we are consider all of them in a one single shot, let's say, way of thinking on of this to solve and bring this to the governments, local municipalities and industries. It should be really on the list, and there are very dramatic numbers we have. Sustainable cities and communities. These are one of the real responsibilities of the designers and the creative industries reps. It's also in the list of the WDO. Why? We know that most of the people and most of the population now lives in the urban areas today. By 2050, this proportion is expected to rise to nearly 70%. It's unbelievable. It's unacceptable. Whatever we can do is appreciated. We need to talk more about it. I will also bring some issues to the table. And everybody knows, and we know around the table, I mean, probably also the students, responsible consumption and the production is also in our list. It's really highly appreciated and related areas to the design, because whatever we design, whatever we develop, they do bring some impacts, positively or negatively. It doesn't mean that the manufacturing and considering all the issues for a certain product portfolio and whatever we do, we are solving is bringing a very positive impacts. We do not get behind this what kind of machineries we are using at the manufacturing lines, what kind of warehouses we have, how is the distribution channels responsibilities behind this, are we able to manage all this stuff when the life cycles of the product ends and it comes to a certain place. So when we are doing this, but worldwide, what's done? There are also very dramatic numbers. Climate action, we already know. Life below water is the 1/3 of the one-fourth of the worldwide, we are living on some lands, but the other rest of the waters, and we know nothing about water, but we know some things. But it's the scientists, decision makers, and the people who are living on this lonely earth should know more about it. Life on land, this is another thing where we are, living on, and we need to consider more this land. So peace, justice, strong institutions, partnerships for the goals. Partnerships for the goals for me is also personally is very important, because even the digitally integration between us, sometimes we feel that in confidence and we are already connected to each other, which is fine, sharing, which is fine, but it's about also the emotions. So digital technologies still trying to find a way to help those sustainable connections based on the humanistic way. These are one of the things that I would like to mention. So when we come up to the maybe it's the second part of the round, but I would like to also talk on the responsibilities of the designers, responsibilities of the decision makers locally, responsibility of the decision makers national-wise, responsibility of the consumers, buyers, manufacturers, marketing guys, whoever they are. We should also bring some identities and new understanding to our platforms. Sometimes we are saying, oh, it's good design. Oh, this is pretty good. This one is superior. Behind this is a little bit more than making a very beautiful products. What we are bringing to this society is behind this. It's about to, maybe I will come up to the second round, to build up on new kind of organizational charts at the giant industries, because they consume a lot, and the way of living in our maybe very personal areas at homes, and also our sharing homes, urbans together. So we need to talk about more. These are very quick issues, Maz. I would like to bring to let also for myself to remember again. If we don't remember those issues, then jumping into the other focusing points, we may be missing some things. So this is for me for the first round's very quick responses.
I totally agree with that. Yes, thank you for your introduction. So you can start with the debate with colleagues.
Yes, probably we can connect to Paivi, and I would love to learn her proposals, and I know her in person also. This is her sharings. It's your turn, Paivi, and cheers to Finland.
Thank you, Sertac. Thank you also very much for the great introduction and the very humanistic approach you shared with us. I'm thinking about should I share a few slides with you or not? What did you say, Mancha? Would it be good if I simply shared a couple of slides, or would it be better if I just talk?
Maybe it would be better just to talk because of the IT things. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's totally fine. Maybe I will start talking a bit about where I come from, because for me, the context is always important. You can never, I can never, no, none of us can ever speak for anything unless we share the context first. And from my context, it's important to know to all you experts in the roundtable, but also everyone else who is listening to us today, that my primary context is the Arctic region. I'm at the moment sitting spot on in the Arctic Circle, but most of my time actually I spend even a bit more to the north, on latitude 69, and compared to your latitude 46, it's really much more to the north. I moved here 14 years ago from south of Finland, and probably moving up to the very north in Europe has changed my view of the world more than anything else during my already relatively long life. What I learned moving up here in a very concrete manner is that every single day we are witnessing the climate change. I have seen a change in my climate, in my surroundings during the 14 years already. A lot of people who have lived up here in the Arctic for generations, for hundreds of years, for thousands of years, some of them, they have seen a lot of changes taking place in their livelihood as well. It's not just a theoretical climate change. It's a very pragmatic climate change. Many people, especially representing the indigenous people up in the Arctic, are facing every day, and it's threatening their livelihood as well. So this is the framework where I live, and this is also the reason why 13 years ago, I started pushing and encouraging experts and designers, design students in my environment to take up an approach which we started calling Arctic design. And Arctic design means not only designing in the Arctic or for the Arctic, it means designing bearing in mind that we all have a responsibility to our environment, and we all have to consider what happens in our environment and take that as a starting point as well for our designs. So in that sense, sustainability has been in the very core of my own activities, but more importantly, in the activities related to design done in the Arctic region. And of course, today, 14 years later, climate change mitigation is more actual than ever. Understanding sustainability as a complex, wide entity is more important than ever. And perhaps one of the most important issues that come with climate change is responsibility, as Sertac was saying, responsibility related not only to the environment as such, but everything that is connected to it. And of course, the learning lesson, I believe, is one of the most important for all of us, and also the students that are studying today, whether they are studying design or anything else, is to understand the complexity of our world. Our world is more complex than it has ever been, and I feel that this has a direct impact on how we design and what we design and how we should design as well. The world order in many ways has changed, and it has changed in a way that if earlier, years ago, decades ago, if we could afford ourselves the luxury of designing for a specific target, we simply can't do that anymore. We have to understand the complexity and the systemic world we live in. And of course, during the past 2 years, we have experienced this very directly with the pandemic. In the title of today's session, it read and reads post-pandemic. But unfortunately, that's not the case. We are not in the post-pandemic situation yet. We are still in the middle of the pandemic. And even today, we don't really know how long the pandemic will last. So at the moment, we are in a situation where we have to try to understand not the post-pandemic, but the pandemic situation still. And then, of course, the more recent unexpected challenge we are all facing relating to the war in Ukraine, it makes our world and our everyday life even more complex at the moment. What does this mean? What is the implication to design and to design profession, all other professions, of course, as well, but now we are focusing on design. What I would say is that there are major changes taking place in the activities around design. One of them is a shift from short-term to long-term. In complex systemic world, we can't afford finding solutions for short-term challenges. The challenges, the most demanding challenges we face, they are long-term challenges. And designers as professionals face a situation where we have to learn to think about long-term solutions more than ever as well. Another change is linear changing to complexity. And a third one, I believe, is individualism changing to clearly changing to collaboration, work across discipline, multidisciplinary approach, teamwork approach. And what does this mean in skill set? It means that we have to go beyond creativity. Creative people, designers among them, are always very proud of their specific skills related to creativity, and there's no one more proud of designers in this respect than I. But I'm afraid we have to go beyond. And what does this mean? It means that we have to be able to understand the big picture, understand the complexity much more. We need to improve with our collaborative skills. We have to become more perseverant, and we need to develop a strong resilience, because this is certainly not the end of unexpected changes taking place in the world. So these would be the sort of the key issues I would like to mention here. And I will close with my favorite quote from my favorite design professional, Victor Papanek, who in many ways is one of the fathers of sustainable design and sustainability related approach. Victor Papanek said in 1984, quite a long time ago already, about design. He said, design, if it's to be ecologically responsible and socially responsive, must be revolutionary and radical in the truest sense. And I believe that even he said this in 1984 already. Today it's more true than ever. And this is, of course, a sign or a reminder, rather, that the topics that are acute today, they have existed before, and we just have to work even deeper, even more responsibly to create solutions for the challenges we are facing today. So hopefully this is enough for the time being, and happy to hear experts.
Thank you, Paivi.
So thank you so much. It was such a nice and excellent reminding. Papanek saying we need to design and we need to design for the real needs, and we need to make it ecologically responsible for the platforms that we are living. This is our lonely planet, our sweet homes, this Earth. So, Mr. Robert, we would like to learn your thoughts and your proposals and your ideas regarding the topic.
Thank you. It is really a pleasure and honor to be with you. Thank you once again for the invitation. even more now when I'm hearing these two beautiful speeches, which were talking about how actually world is changing today. And yes, I was recently president of Design Association of Slovenia also, and we were trying to improve things before pandemic, before Corona period. But honestly, when Corona came, situation completely changed. Interesting is that today we are talking and thinking how we are trying to be connected, but on the other hand, the difference between us is growing. So it's really unbelievable for us who are coming from creativity, who are trying to improve this planet, who are trying, to feel this energy between us. What is actually connecting us? So as an architect and designer, I'm trying to improve life for every human being, for not just human being, but for all of us, for the planet. And talking about quality of life and talking about design, for me, it's very important and crucial to think where we are coming from. So the nature is, of course, the most beautiful creator and designer, and we are, as an architects and designers, just trying to follow this beautiful performance, which we can, actually see in the history and in actually today. And we are trying to, bring this strong connection and strong passion, or even better to say empathy. I believe for us is the most important how we deliver energy and empathy with our work, and to connect the story of our life. So for more than 20 years now, I'm trying to improve surrounding, trying to improve myself, and all the time I'm thinking how to create something better for the surrounding and the people. And interesting is that Lady Paivi, you are coming from Arctic region. I'm now for almost 8 years working in Arab world, and of course you're coming from the place and the region which is the greenest in Europe, the healthiest in Europe, actually the safest maybe on the planet. And you are going, to the desert where you don't have water, where there is 55 degrees, and yes, they are having a lot of money, but honestly, 99% of work, architecture, and design is not smart. Is not, delivering quality of life.
Yeah.
You can find concrete buildings. They don't know how to improve the quality inside, how to improve microclimate inside. They're really, at the beginning, and nevertheless, they appreciate the quality. They still, are focusing how they to live luxury life, and the luxury life is gold and is marble and concrete. It's not good. It's not good for us. It's not good for the human being living inside these buildings. So with my pavilion for Expo, which was selected 3 years ago, and honestly, I'm really proud, not just because the design is really unique and having 3 crucial elements. One element of water, which is, why appropriate for Arab world? Because if you put, let's say, marble or concrete and building on top of it, it will be too hot. And accumulation, which is coming through the sun all day, will accumulate this, and during the night you will feel this strongly. So that's why you need to cool down the area. That's why Slovenia, because of our water resources, is really an amazing solution to deliver water from inside and outside. So this rack of water is at the end really nice solution how to cool down the area, to have circulation, to install tubes inside to cool down the tubes which are going to circulate into air conditioning. natural air conditioning, of course, and then we put this beautiful green cloud of Slovenia, green heart of Slovenia, since we are in the middle of Slovenia. And again, we notice that we have solutions how to cool down the facade system. And this greenery was all the time, nevertheless, it was really hot outside, cooling down inside area. And yes, of course, at the end, since we are rich with wood, we put this parasol, this umbrella of wood to, put shading on right side, of course. You need to, all the time think where the sun is, how you can cool down the area outside, inside. So at the end, in this pandemic and this expo time, we some kind developed or prepared one movement. I can say movement. It is Sacred Garden of Vitality. This story is not just about design and architecture, but all the components. It is about quality. It is about sustainability. It is about nature. It is about water management. And today I can say that last months, we are developing beautiful water solutions with physics, with doctors, with professionals on the field. We are, also trying to develop natural designs, natural components, which are reflecting and delivering high quality of the story. And yes, at the end, we are all together in the story. And how to improve our life is always that we need to work together. We need to feel this energy in between us. We need to support each other. And always when there is a brainstorming, you need to listen. You need to listen and, to come down and to deliver this empathy into the story. And we are lucky, Nevertheless, you notice the Slovenia is really beautiful to live. God or somebody else gave us. Yes.
When you come on the airport,
Correct.
how rich we are.
So I believe for us it's really crucial, to connect, to share this experience. Maybe some beautiful stories from Arctic solutions can be amazing for Slovenia or Europe, amazing for hot areas like Australia, Africa, Middle East. So,
But New European Bauhaus platform
correct.
is the right one now in the middle of Europe and of course all over the world. We should gather our knowledge, our experiences, and as you say, different cultures, different countries, different people, but we have to do it together and to help the future and better life for all people. And designers and architects, we had a crucial role.
Correct. We are creators.
Therefore, it is also very important to educate our students, our talents, and to help them at their career and, of course, their awareness how important it is to be here and present and to see all the problems which are going on all over the world. As you said, you know much more about the world as we hear in Europe perhaps, but the problems are really everywhere.
But it's really crucial that industry, that society, governments will find out that with universities you need to connect. In Slovenia, we don't have this mentality to implement students and this openness and this power of youth into our life. And they go from universities, different fields. They go to different industries, and they are after 10, 20 years sleepy. They are easy moving. If you really put this energy into the life, into the society, this would be really, really helpful.
also in strong connection with economy, with industry partners, and of course to see how to reach all that goals until 2030. I'm afraid a little bit, but we try.
Probably the single word is the empathy, as you said. If we are capable of this, we do understand more about it. You want to share something? No? Okay.
It's okay, we can.
Can I?
Time management here, so.
Thank you so much.
I would talk for hours.
For hours, yes, about it. So
maybe for the second round, we jump in the.
It's a round table.
Yes, a round table.
Yeah, but we don't have 5 hours, that's the problem.
Yes, we can go. So, Dr. Hena, please, would love to listen to your thoughts and your visions. Would you please
Thank you
share?
so much. Thank you so much. I think I've been very lucky because I'm the third person, so I had the wonderful experience of listening to the other speakers and hearing such really important points about the complexity of the situation, and also kind of identifying. I feel very passionate about the industry and student collaboration, and here in the UK we practice that. So just before I start talking a little bit about what we do and also how we engage with sustainability here in the UK, I would also like to introduce myself a little bit. So my practice, I engage with participatory design practice for sustainable social innovation, which means that we work with people who are the direct stakeholders for sustainability projects at different levels. And this is what I'm going to talk about in terms of how we engage with the complexity of initiatives around sustainability and how we try to make things happen, looking at the actions that we can take. So again, I think one of the biggest eye-openers for the world was the pandemic, because it made us realize the impact of human activity on the world. So for example, the global carbon emission dropped by 17% around the world during lockdown, and 43% of the reductions came from transportation. Another 43% came from the power and industrial sectors, which kind of signals to the economic sectors actually to focus and address climate crisis. However, these are expected to return to normal if we continue in the old ways. Similarly was the boom of technological solutions, from communication solutions to office management to health management, because everyone went virtual, which was amazing in terms of opportunities, but also highlighted the equality gap in terms of skills, accessibility, and inclusivity, because everyone did not have the luxury to have access to technology. And those were the people who were actually ignored during the pandemic due to this inequality. So again, I mean, looking at the it was great to listen to the UN development sustainable development goals again, because it's always a good reminder to understand the areas that we need to focus on. So for example, we can use the lesson learned for human resource and technology, as stated in the EU Horizon 2021 to 24 strategies. One, to accelerate our transition to renewable energy, focus on zero waste and circular economies, innovate the healthcare sector, or to ensure, that the governments are focusing on investments in the infrastructures. These are the kind of solutions as designers we normally we think of a problem and then we think of, so how can, from a design perspective, we can impact this problem. I never say solve problems. So for me, it's about impacting the problem to an extent that we can do to making things more doable. But the question is, and the most important question, these are really complex problems and these are really huge problems. So the question is always, how do we engage with these problems? So I'm going to come back to the point about the context. The context is really important. So a problem, the intensity of problem that we might have here in the UK might not be the same in Pakistan, which is where I am from. So when the context changes, the impact changes, the problem changes. So for me, I think, because my background is participatory design and also service design and innovation, where we engage with stakeholders, we engage with products, we engage with system, we feel that the complexity of these issues needs a more systems design thinking, a more systemic approach to engaging with these complex problems. So when we say systems thinking, I mean is that the designers need to analyze problems in the appropriate context by looking beyond the parent problems to consider a system as a whole, and then also the individual problem position within that particular space. I'm going to give a few examples because then it's a little bit general, but the designers can expose the root cause and avoid merely treating symptoms, so they can tackle deeper problems and be more likely to find effective solutions, because we live in an ecosystem where nothing is in isolation, everything is connected. When we talk about the environmental issue, very closely to the environmental issues are the health issues. Very closely to the health issues are the travel issues. During the pandemic, we realized that yes, we were isolated, we were all closed in, our working environments, our home environments changed, and it had a huge impact on the mental health around the world in every context. So kind of understanding this ecosystem and how we are part of this ecosystem. War in Ukraine, a very sad situation. A war in other parts of the world, very sad situations. We living in continents away may think Ukraine is in Europe, but maybe war in Afghanistan. We may think, oh, so this war is so far from us, it will not impact us, but it does, because due to the ripple effect, we have now immigration crisis, we are in a refugee crisis, the world, and then in connection to these two crises, we also have economic crisis. So we live in an ecosystem, and we need to take into account how what we do now is going to impact the future in terms of sustainability. But also kind of thinking about these systems or the ecosystem, I think, I would like everyone to think about it who's listening on. I think it also kind of becomes a little bit overwhelming. So how do we solve these? How do we solve these problems? How do we engage with these problems? I think it's a big question. What can we do to impact these problems positively? Trying to find solutions at different aspects. And I think when we're thinking about something so complex, I think a systems approach can be a good way of engaging with it. So, for example, when I say a system approach, it means thinking about the problems in a micro and a macro level. So when I say a micro level, it is more like an individual space. So, for example, design students here at London College of Communication, we work with a working model where we engage the students, we connect with the industries, we connect with the local communities, and we engage the students with them through participatory design practice. We develop projects with the communities, we develop projects with local organizations, looking at local problems, and then how can we develop sustainable design solutions for these localized issues and problems. So that's the micro level approach that we use to, you can say, amplify sustainability at a community level. So another level that we work on within my own professional practice and at the MA and London College of Communication is we engage with the policymakers. So we develop projects, we develop ideas, we develop spaces like this, conferences or roundtables or strategy design spaces where we invite policymakers, or we are invited by policymakers to come and develop strategies which can be sustainable in specific contexts. For example, Policy Lab UK. So looking at the complexity of the issues, these really big issues. So when we talk about renewable energy, there might be a thought process around it that, okay, so it's a huge problem. It might be for the experts in the renewable energy profession and field, but I feel that as designers, we are in a very good position to engage with these issues. Working within the space of design innovation for the last 10 years now, and engaging with sustainability, I feel that we are empowered to bring people together, to set up collaborations from multidisciplinary perspectives, because there cannot be one solution to impact such big problems. So we need expertise. For example, in service design, when we design services, we engage with multiple stakeholders in different spaces. It could be the community members, it could be local governments, it could be the central government. In the UK, it can also, and it is primarily engaging with the design students, with the design academics. So we develop these clusters, we call them the sustainability clusters. So we develop these collaborative sustainability clusters where everyone kind of gets together. There's a knowledge exchange, there's knowledge sharing, and we tend to develop solutions from different perspectives to impact one problem. So, for example, we can have a team of experts from product design. We can have a team of experts from communication design. We can have a team that has experts from the government and policy making. And then how we exchange knowledge, how we share knowledge to develop solutions which can impact an issue that we are targeting is the methodology that we engage here in the UK. So I think kind of thinking about collaboration, thinking about defining complexity, or in a way engaging complexity or breaking down complexity to actionable points is one way of going forward. Because I think otherwise, when we think about this system at a wider macro level, where we're thinking about our actions, we're thinking about what we're trying to do, we're thinking about what we're designing and the impact it has on the environment, and the impact it has on the people, and then kind of thinking about how do we engage the targets or the publics to become a part of this movement, become a part of the sustainability movement, kind of puts us as designers in a very good position to create these spaces or these pockets or these clusters of collaboration to create a positive impact within the arena of sustainable design. So for example, kind of thinking about promoting an open strategic autonomy by leading the development of key, and emerging technologies to create value chains that accelerate and steer the digital and green transitions through human-centered, technological and innovations. Thinking about restoring ecosystems and biodiversity by managing sustainability, and engaging different publics with the initiatives to bring in their knowledge, and to kind of, in a way, identifying strategies that are successful in engaging the direct target holders. Because again, at the end of the day, we design objects, we design systems, we design services, but who are these services for? It's for the public, it's for the people. And if we do not have sustainable engagement of the public with the initiatives, how can we ensure that the strategies we're designing are effective? So I think from my perspective, human-centered design and participatory design practices put us in a very good position to design with the people we are designing for, rather than, kind of being in a space where we do not have direct knowledge of who's going to be engaging with our design practices. And I think, again, creating a more resilient and inclusive and more democratic society, and preparing for the future. There's a lot of work that's been done in the UK since the pandemic about future preparedness. So thinking about, we engage with a critical design practice, we engage with a speculative design practice, thinking about the probable and the possible futures, which may not be happening now, but which could happen, as we go forward. So I think it's about embedding the idea of sustainability in the basic design model, be it product designers, be it design students, be it design practitioners, be it any individual in any field. I think we need to think about how do we personally engage with the idea of sustainability in our own practices, in our own fields, and then at a macro level, that how do we amplify, support, how do we propagate the notion of sustainability in the organizations that we work in. So for example, in my own personal practice, through being an academic, I create collaboration between the students, design students, and the local industries and the local community organizations. At the same time, in my academic and professional practice, I develop these clusters or these collaborative spaces or these collaborative projects with the policymakers and sustainability experts in the other parts of the world. And again, thinking about these opportunities as amplification spaces to take the cause of, it's a cause, it's a movement. So to take the cause of sustainability forward through our own professional practices, through our own personal practices. So I'm just going to give a small example about, and you can look it up, it's on UAL website as well, the Climate Studio, which is run by a colleague of mine, and we engage the students with the Climate Studio, we engage them climate change experts with the Climate Studio, but primarily we're bringing the local community and policymakers together. So the UL Climate Studio is a pilot program to act on climate emergencies locally, and designers from 3 UL colleagues are collaborating with local organizations to act together. The clusters are exploring new approaches to local governance, supporting the local councils like Southern Council to achieve a carbon neutral borough by 2013. And they will also involving children and young adults, young designers into developing an action plan that we can deliver together to support each other and to support climate change in the local borough of Southern Council. And I'm going to share my my design philosophy, and I'm going to finish with that. It's an African philosophy called Ubuntu, and it goes like, I am because we are. So I feel collaboration is the key to kind of impacting these complex issues, collaboration between key stakeholders and key experts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much. Behind all this, I think we do need to remember how we are going to engage with the communities, and it's about the approach, building up the approach in a systematical way. Thank you so much. And Anna is waiting for us. Sorry, but we also try to give more information, whatever we can do in a short time period. Now it's your turn, Anna.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like first to thank for the invitation. So I'm honored that I can be the voice of our students of Faculty of Design. And I'm very thankful that you're bringing these important messages to the design talk, to this table. And I would like to say that our students were facing many challenges in the past period that actually nobody expected. And for me, the most important thing was to talk to the students as much as I could. So I noticed quite some differences in this post-pandemic world, or still pandemic world, as you name it. So there was a lot of uncertainty and this social tension that I could feel within youth. And there were young also struggling with like quick challenges, although we proved to be very adaptable to each of those challenges. And in this period of time, I think that the mental health became as important as the physical health. And also then the consumer behaviors changed as our daily routines changed. And we were maybe getting more into our bubbles, just taking care of ourselves, of our families. And there were like fear and maybe risk redefined. So we really had to change our lifestyles and everything that comes within. But we were very we were very like I would say still maybe optimistical about this period. So during this time, I started with my own project, which was TEDx University of Ljubljana. And there I had a group of 25 students with which I could talk to and just share my opinions and how they're going through this period of time. And it was funny because we all met on Zoom, and actually the whole organization process went through the Zoom. We were online all the time. So when we finally met in person for the photo shooting, it was funny how we kind of knew each other, but we didn't know each other because we didn't have this information about how people look like in real life. We knew about the personality, how they talk. We saw the profile pictures, right? But there was like the other side of identity that we didn't know about our participants. So this was a very funny experience that I think we went through. And as I was listening through the Still Case, the organization, I went to a workshop, and they were like researching working from home also a lot. And one of the main highlights of their results was that people that worked in an office, not from home, could check up on each other in the workplace. And I thought this is one of the very important points that they said. And also the organizations that I worked with, I always wanted to create this sense of belonging, because I think this is the most important thing right now, that we can create this safe space where everyone feels comfortable enough to express their own opinion, like this mental safety. And this is also a basics on which we have to work on when designing, I would say, because there has to be this sincere talk, because we want youth to change, to change their lifestyle, not just some kind of habits, but actually the whole lifestyle to be more sustainable, to work on more on really important things and challenges that the world is struggling with right now. And I would like to thank Hena also for mentioning this about mental health. I think it was very important. So by that, we have to raise really this social responsibility and the empathy. And our designs nowadays, I think that have to be experiences which can include this empathy. And that we have this sustainable approach always at the back of the brain. So also our population is changing all the time, and there are bigger differences, and the design really needs to be now more than ever inclusive. And it's kind of, we're going in a way that we are all the same in being different, actually. So at this point, I would also like to say that students are very thankful that we have so many opportunities on our faculty and that we can also connect to other faculties with projects and work with the industry, with professionals, also connect somehow with governance and stuff like that. And we have to say that we have ideas and that we care. And this is a really great opportunity for us, for better tomorrow and for our planet. Now I prepared a bit of statistics about the millennials and how actually it was very funny research made, which said that 64% of millennials won't nowadays take a job in a company if they don't have a strong corporate social responsibility values, which I think is very, very important. And it says that 83% would be more loyal to a company that helps them contribute to social and environmental issues. And you won't believe that 88% said that their job is more fulfilling when they're provided with opportunities to make a positive impact on social and environmental issue. And I think that these trends are really making me feel better. And for the end, I just want to say to all the young students that it's really important now to return to local community and to society by being really active on different projects. I would really like to invite you to be empathic, to observe the world around you, and to develop your own ideas and to participate in this big, greater puzzle that we are working in together. Because if we learned something in this pandemic time, it was that we have to step together to really reach some bigger, higher goals. So I really invite you here to participate in the projects that really matter for us and matter for our future. So that would be it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna Maria.
Thank you so much.
Very impressive.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we are very proud of our students.
Thank you so much. We finished our time, but I would like to bring another issue. Maybe we can discuss later. And there are magic piece of marketing comes up from the Philip Kotler. It is said that product, price, place, promotion, something like that, and there are others. So we need more to hear about it, also about the sustainability. There is nothing behind it. And selling more. So we are becoming the natural ambassadors of all these issues behind those kind of strategies for the giant companies. Before closing, maybe it shouldn't be more than a couple of sentences. If maybe I would like to ask, starting from Paivi, if she would like to add a couple of sentences to be able to save time, please, if there is any, before the closing speech of dear Professor Nada.
Thank you, Sertac. Very, very briefly, reflecting on what Anna said in her presentation, I'm very happy and I'm very trustful that the younger generations, they will make this work. I totally agree with what Anna said that and based on research as well, surveys, that majority of younger generations, they value the values that are positively related to climate change mitigation, sustainability related issues. So I'm all I have all confidence in that the world will manage all the challenges we are fighting with at the moment, simply because our younger generations are better than my generation, better than I. I have 3 sons, and I see that they all are better in many issues than I have ever been. And maybe the last thing I want to say is related to the sense of belonging Anna also mentioned. I feel this has a lot to do with trust, and trust in every aspect, also in relation to sustainability and making sustainability happen. What makes it possible is if we have trust. So trust is a critical thing. Thank you.
So much. Again, couple of sentences, Mr. Robert. Do you have any?
Thank you, Mr. Sertac. It was really amazing experience to be with you and to share these beautiful thoughts. And yes, like we were talking, I'm confident that only if we will respect each other and not just youngsters. Of course, they are very, very important, and I believe we need to give them, responsibility to grow. But in every society, if there is, combination of old people who have many experiences with youngsters who are like bulls, running, I hope they will. I don't see this in these millenniums, this powerful energy like we were having, with this, let's say, Rolling Stones period of life. But honestly, still they are.
Everybody will know how old I am.
But yes, I believe this, like hand, you are strong because of 5 fingers.
Yes.
And this is the story and the beauty of life. And this is what we need to, not just, Lady Paivi said, trust. Also doubt. You need to doubt. If you don't doubt, then you are not doing a progress. Of course, trust must be, but more respect than trust, in my opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, this is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hena, do you want to add a couple of sentences before closing?
Yes, just very quickly. Thank you so much for such a wonderful discussion. I just feel so honored to be part of this roundtable. And I think I agree with the points. It's about trust. It's about empathy, and our young people. And I feel that design schools are doing a good job in creating a force. I would say it's a force of young designers who are socially conscious, who are socially responsible. I think my advice or my suggestion would only be for whoever is listening to think about, when they think about sustainability and what they think about what needs to be done, we need to first of all think about our individual selves, that what are we doing about it in our own surroundings, how are we engaging with it? And then secondly, I think it'd be really good to think about how are we engaging others with the idea of sustainability, be it green spaces, be it the environment, be it a climate change. So I think for me, it's engaging personally, individually, and at a community level is the key to taking the idea of sustainability forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's your quick turn on, and we come back to you. Do you want to add anything? Then it's your.
Yes, sure. I mean, I really want to say that this is the new era of new human connections, and in this world where we can connect really quickly at the just tap of our hand. It's so important that we can gather and work together on different projects to reduce, recycle, reuse, and to achieve this more sustainable life.
Thank you so much. So please, Manza, and
One
finally
sentence about that. Yes, actually, I was thinking about it when we develop or deliver a sustainable product or process. How then one problem comes up, and how can we convince our users or consumers to behave more responsible? We can share, we can do this, but how to convince our users? And here is the second problem, maybe for the second roundtable, how to work with our consumers and bring them to the more responsible way of thinking and using stuff. But maybe I have one suggestion. We have to think about the experience when they use it, about user experience, and this will involve or have some impact on emotional things, which is very important when we are selling things, and also it will impact on loyalty
and respect.
And the respect.
Yeah, thank you so much. You brought a very different perspective.
Yeah, well, that's why we have to speak and to have a lot of connections and listen to each other and be very good observer.
Yeah.
Well, before, or I don't know, maybe I just want at first to thank you, all of you, for sharing your critical view. How can we manage these challenges? I think that we make very fruitful fundamentals for the previous or coming conferences and talks. But now I would like to please our dearest Dean, Professor Nada Maticic of our faculty, to closing our roundtable.
Thank
Nada,
you, Manta. My dear Manta, I am really very grateful to organize this wonderful roundtable with all distinguished guests. Thank you, Paivi. Thank you, Hena. Thank you, Anna. Online and of course here in our new premises of Faculty of Design in the middle of Ljubljana. Especially thanks goes to our member of World Design Organization, Mr. Sertac, and of course our greatest young architect working all over the world in the field of sustainable green architecture, Robert Klun. So many good ideas, so many thoughts from the bottom of their heart that we heard today, from Finland to Arabic world, about people who are struggling every day for water and food. And of course, we don't like that. We, through World Design Organization, through BEDA, through New European Bauhaus Platform, through our group of international design education, where we are working together in the field of pedagogical, scientific and art and education, as Anna mentioned, on different projects with Scotland, with Germany, with Switzerland, with Italy, with Belgium, with China and Portugal, for instance, that we see that we all have not only goals in Europe, but we have global goals to reach. And the only question and the final end and the final goal we want to do is how to save the world. Of course, we designers, architects have a great responsibility, not only to our students, to our young people. Of course, the future belongs to them, But here we are to help them, to help our environment, to help also our, as you said, Robert, to our government. What to do, how to do. Of course, also on our side, there is industry, which is trying very hard to reach some of the goals, to be very responsible, and to think on the materials we have in our environment, to spend as less as possible energy, and so on. But I think with all this digitalization and modern way of living, we have not only to think and discuss on our conference roundtables, but we have to act. Now, there is no time anymore. And I think that designers can improve the world, how to solve the global problems. Everywhere we are speaking about that. I'm waiting now for Don Norman's speeches and education, what the meaning of a designer in reality is. Of course, we also have to develop our skills, our new approaches, to find out new strategies, to redesign design thinking, and also on the environmental design organization, you are speaking about the imaginative, about in Valencia, role of design, our world's design capital. And of course, also how the next generation of designers can navigate an increasingly complex future. Also about a complexity, we are talking about next week in Italy in Pordenone on an international conference with Italian companies and Italian experts in this field. All these things and these great responsibilities are really very important for all of us. Of course, this pandemic situation convinced us to think a little bit different, but I think now we are feeling free, we are happy, we like to drink coffee with our friends, we can go outside to enjoy the sun and the people, our friendships and so on. But on the other side, we are making projects like green cities, and of course we have to do we have to convince our knowledge and experience for long-term solutions. That would be, in short, all. I also thank you to my students on our Faculty of Design in Ljubljana, because they are so innovative. They really want to do something. And I think the future is going to be bright for all of us because of this young generation. So thank you, my distinguished guests, for your contributions. I hope we can see us during our Urban October. We are organizing for 2022 with many distinguished speakers, and of course we are going to show all our international projects we are making in this year. So thank you very much, and have a very nice day and a very bright future. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much.